team have swept.
You're watching CTV Sports. Let's go!
Good evening, Ram fans, and welcome to the Monday Night Sports Show. I'm Cody Odom.
And I'm Maddie Warren. Track and field and swim and dive headed to the Mountain West Championships. Men's basketball got a huge win over Wyoming. Hockey went into another overtime game. Soccer kicked off their spring season, and lacrosse was looking to stay undefeated. Corey, let's start by recapping track and field.
Well, Maddie, I hope that you brought your broom, because for the second time in just 3 years, the Colorado State men's and women's track team have swept the Mountain West Championship. You don't win a championship without huge performances from just about everyone. A couple Rams really ran all over the competition. For the men's team, senior Cole Rockhold finished off his career at CSU with a gold medal in the mile. Rockhold finished in just under 4 minutes and 18 seconds, managing to improve from his fourth place finish just 1 year earlier. For the women's, they had one freshman with a record-setting meet. Lauren Gale became the first freshman in Mountain West Championship history to finish the 400-meter dash and win it. She did it in a time of 54.43 seconds. One CSU track star that didn't reach the top of the pedestal, Mary Beth Sant, got a silver in the 60-meter before being disqualified in the 200 for tripping and stepping into someone else's lane. She looks to climb back up in the NCAA tournament. The athletes weren't the only ones walking away with awards for the Rams, though. Head coach Brian Bedard won Men's and Women's Coach of the Year. The CSU men's team won 151 when Air Force finished second with 136. The CSU women's team won 139 over UNLV, who finished with 104.
And if you're wondering where CSU may have gotten those brooms, the Wyoming Cowboys men's basketball team literally walked into Moby on Saturday with their brooms, expecting a sweep in the Border War matchup. Aggie Day, Border War, and the largest crowd Moby Arena has seen this season, the stage was set for a huge rematch between the CSU Rams and Wyoming Cowboys, and the Rams showed up big time. After losing to the Cowboys in Laramie for the first Border War of the season, Colorado State had something to prove. The Rams had an explosive first half, dominated the court, especially defensively. CSU held Wyoming to just 10% from the arc and nearly doubled them in field goal percentage. The only thorn Colorado State had to face was Justin James, who carried more than half the points for the Cowboys, and drew a technical from Nico Carvacho, pulling the strong center from the floor for a good portion of the game. Compared to Wyoming's one standout shooter, the Rams had 9 players with points by the end of the game, led by J.D. Page with 15 points. CSU showed what they are capable of and took home the win 83-48, the largest margin of victory in Border War history. Former CSU basketball player and retired NBA Dallas Mavericks player Pat Durham made an appearance at Moby Arena as he passed the torch to Nico Carvacho for being CSU's new all-time leader in rebounds.
With him holding that record for 30 years and with 1 year left for Nico Carvacho, how many years until his record gets broken?
Oh, I'm thinking at least another 30, if not 35, 40. It's definitely going to be another while until that happens.
He's got a bit. But the winning streak stayed alive in CSU for men's lacrosse when they played against Oregon yesterday to keep their undefeated season going. Last season, the Ducks were the first team of the year to beat the Rams before the Rams dropped 9 straight games. This year, Colorado State were staring down a similar fate as they opened the game down 3-0 at the end of the first. Unfortunately for the Oregon Ducks, the Rams never blinked as they managed to tie the game in the second and keep it close throughout. Number 33, Josh Kelly, and number 12, Derek Delante, both managed to grab a hat trick each to push the Rams to a third straight victory. In an after-game interview with head coach Ryan McDonald, he talked about the family mentality. The family mentality and team cohesion is already better than it ever was last year. I'm excited to see what these boys can do this year. The CSU lacrosse team continued their undefeated season, beating Oregon 10-8.
The victorious weekend came down to the wire in the CSU men's hockey team's final game of the season. Unfortunately, this time it didn't quite go in their favor. Just like their game against CU, the Rams took UNLV into overtime Thursday night. It was a scoreless first period and a goalie face-off between Joe Morgan and Rebels' Ben Geisbrecht. The first goals of the game didn't come until the second period, both scored by Colorado State's Tanner Gillis. However, the Rebels also got one on the board in the second thanks to Pasela Soff. UNLV scored the lone goal of the third period, sending the game into overtime. Both Morgan and Geisbrecht were walls in the net, and the winner of the game came down to a shootout. UNLV had a chance at the first shot of the shootout with Paxton Malone taking it down to the net with a wrist shot up into the right corner, right by Joe Morgan. CSU had a chance to answer, Kyle Riley taking it down, misses wide left. UNLV comes back for the second shot with Bryce Woodward hitting it into the net, shoveling it right in. And finally, Max Legere. Geisbrecht got his stick on the puck and just poked it out. Rams were down. And while Morgan had been strong all night, it just wasn't enough for the one-on-one battles. The Rebels made 2 shots and Geisbrecht held the Rams to 0. UNLV went home with the payback win 3-2 for CSU's last game of the season.
What a crazy weekend for the Rams.
It really was, yeah.
Well, Rams, don't go anywhere because later in the show we'll have updates from swim and dive and spring soccer. But next up, we got Castro's Cut, so stay tuned.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome to Castro's Cut. I am Litos Castro, here to give you the rundown of what's coming up in CSU Sports this week. So, without further ado, let's get rolling right into it. First, we're taking a look at your women's golf squad. They're participating in the Gold Rush today. They started today, and then they're finishing up tomorrow. They had kind of a rough start last weekend, so this is to see if they can bounce back this week. Check in with Jessica and Tara tomorrow on the Tuesday Night Sports Show, see how they fare up and if they were able to make that comeback. Next, we're taking a few shots with your basketball squads. Women's basketball starting off the week on Wednesday against Boise State in Moby Arena, 7 in the evening for you. Then on Saturday, New Mexico Lobos coming to town, also in Moby Arena, 2 in the afternoon on Saturday. Men's basketball seeing a little bit of a mirror matchup coming up. Boise State as well, except they're heading over there. That game also starting at 7 in the evening. And then on Saturday, they head over to New Mexico for an 8 p.m. matchup against the Lobos for a local matchup. Next, we're taking ourselves over to the Diamond with the softball squad. Colorado State Classic. That's right, softball finally home after doing so well away. Now they can bring the fun action here to Fort Collins for you. They're going to face off against 4 different squads over the 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. You're going to see a couple matchups against Idaho State, Stony Brook, and even one against Nebraska and Santa Clara to finish off the weekend for you. Staying on the Diamond, we're taking a look at the baseball team. Friday and Saturday, they're going to be facing off against Williston State College. First one on Friday is going to be 6 in the evening. And then on Saturday, they have a doubleheader. First one at noon and the second one at 2 in the afternoon. Staying with the club sports, we're taking a look at lacrosse next. On Thursday, they're going to be heading out to Arizona, first facing off against Arizona State. Then they stay in the hot state over there, taking on Grand Canyon University at noon on Saturday. And then finally, we finish up with women's tennis. They have a couple matchups this weekend. On Saturday, they take on Drake, and then on Sunday, taking on UTEP. So it's going to be a fun week. See how they hold up. We're going to have our reporters, Ryan, Chris, and Ethan out there for you. Don't worry, we got them all covered for you. And you know what time it is. It's time for your top play of the week. Let's roll it. Here we have Anthony Madsen Bonner coming up with a huge steal shutdown of a play as Wyoming was trying to go for the basket, and they're able to take this down the other way and get a three-point shot. And it's great plays like these that led to a huge win in Moby Arena this past weekend. And even 5 of your Rams getting in double digits for points this past weekend. So a huge day for the Rams. Well done from them. All right, Rams, that's all I've got for you. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got the Triple J Pick'em Challenge coming next. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
What is up, Ram fans, and welcome back from the break into the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. I'm Jessica Mendoza, joined by Jason Ortiz and Jared Stratton. So, as we see on the screen here, a terrible, terrible graphic.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Who's on top?
Ethan. Ethan did all your picks last week.
Okay, buddy. Listen, coming from the guy that went 0 for 3.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
You weren't even there, so let's just
take the L, Jared.
There, yeah.
All right.
Let's keep it at
that. All right. Don't be salty.
Last week was tough.
Well, you take me. I'm not taking the L if I'm not in last place, like someone. All right.
Well, at least now you know what it feels like to go for 3 as well, right?
Ooh.
A little bit of sympathy.
Let's go on with the picks now, so I can prove.
All right. Well, regardless of rankings, let's start picking. So CSU is traveling to the Pit to take on the New Mexico Lobos. So Jason, what do you got here?
So right here, I got to stick with the Rams. They seem like they're on a hot streak. They won 1 game, so you gotta love that. Nico Carvacho. I mean, they handled New Mexico last time they played them. Carvacho, Page, Martin, the big 3. You know, you got to keep them rolling.
Yeah, and Carlton Bragg, he's a leader of rebounds for the New Mexico Lobos, of course. But right now, I don't see him doing anything against Nico Carvacho. Nico Carvacho has not only been on fire the last game, like you said, one game, but he's been on fire this whole season. Not only the Mountain West leader of rebounds, but also the whole nation. So don't be surprised if Carlton Bragg gets bullied down in the paint. And with that, also Carvacho holding down the paint. I don't see the New Mexico Lobos shooting anything within the 2-point mark around there. They're going to have to stay beyond the 3, and that's not where they excel.
Okay, before we get too excited about this here, let's not forget who handed the Nevada their first loss of the season. That's right, my friends, the New Mexico Lobos.
Oh, if you want to go back a little bit.
They didn't just beat them. They demolished them, 85-58.
And they played them again. Then
CSU demolished New Mexico last time they played them.
Yeah, by 16.
My point here is that if UNM can do that to Nevada, they can definitely do that to CSU.
But they didn't.
They can step up to the plate. If they come out hot like they did against Nevada, where they got like a 20-6 lead in the beginning, I definitely think that they can take this game here. There's nothing that CSU has been doing that's super spectacular lately that's really going to give me the opportunity to say, okay, yeah, like for sure, these Rams are going to win this.
Besides
I just don't feel confident
leading the nation in rebounds, other than that small
you
statistic.
You literally dissed Jason a couple weeks ago saying that the Rams are not going to win by rebounds.
They didn't, because they didn't win that game.
So you can't use that as your only...
I was correct then.
That was like your only point, Jared.
They're going up against Carlton Bragg. All right. This is his 3rd college for a reason, because he's not very good. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Yeah, he's probably a 1-star now. Because
he's been held below 10 points the last 5 games.
I'm sending this to Carlton.
Anyway, please do. Well, let's roll into our second pick. We have number 4 Kentucky headed down south to take on number 7 Tennessee. Jared, what do you got on this one?
Okay, real quick, I'm going to say I had faith in Tennessee last game, and that was clearly a bad choice. They lost by 17 points. That's not a fluke. That's not a bad game. That's a blowout. Tennessee got blew out that game, and not only that, Kentucky shot lights out from beyond the three when they played against Tennessee. They shot over 50%. That's insane. To play against a Tennessee team that's proved they're great on defense, they show that they're not, especially against Kentucky. And I don't see that Kentucky is going to lose this game again, especially they know Tennessee's weaknesses. They know how to play against them. That's not going to happen again.
I think you could make the same argument that Tennessee now knows how to play against Kentucky, although they lost.
They know how to lose
both
to Kentucky.
seen each other. I think that was a wake-up call for Tennessee, as well as their loss against LSU. And personally, for me, this is kind of like a feeling pick for me. I know they've been down the last couple weeks, but how embarrassing would it be for me if I pick Kentucky this time after picking Tennessee the last 2 weeks, and then Tennessee comes out and wins? ESPN said that Tennessee now has a 60% chance of winning this matchup. This time, they're at home. I'm picking Tennessee. You guys aren't changing my mind here.
I feel like it'd be more embarrassing that if you pick Tennessee
twice,
and they're wrong every single time.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Over 3 for Tennessee. Well, so, PJ Washington, you can't stop him. The man is unguardable, along with, obviously, Higgins. Higgins and Washington, probably one of the better 1-2 guards in the SEC. So going into Tennessee, Kentucky's still that blue blood school that is going to go in and just wreck shop. Tennessee had a weak schedule up front, which is why they were up top, and now they're actually facing good opponents down the road.
We've heard it from you, Jason.
Yep, which is why I was right.
Well, we'll see. If I get these last 2 picks right, maybe I'll start coming back up from last place. Sometimes you got to, like as Jason says, risk it for the biscuit,
Going right back down. All right, now let's switch it up, though, for pick 3. Looking at a big game, though, in the NBA this week, we have the Nuggets hosting the OKC Thunder from the Pepsi Center. And I'm going to let you start this one off, Jess.
Yeah, so finally doing an NBA game, super exciting. I'm picking the Nuggets. I know it was early in the season, so it's kind of hard to tell from there, but the Nuggets have already beat them in November and December, holding them to under 100 points each time. So I kind of am seeing this Nuggets defense kind of being like a kryptonite for OKC. Because they're one of the top scoring teams in the league. So the fact that they're used to scoring 115, 120, and they're only getting 98 points in each of their games against the Nuggets, I think that's huge for them. So I'm really excited to see this matchup. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah. It's a pretty good game. I mean, I don't watch the NBA. I don't really watch it. So
just stop listening now.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not right.
I mean, you got the stat stuffer, Brody. Russell Westbrook. No, that's why I'm picking OKC's Russell Westbrook. Paul George. Those are my 2 picks.
Okay, well, if you're going to say Russell Westbrook, he's a triple-double machine, yes. I'll give you that. But so is Nikola Jokic. And Nikola Jokic is a center. He's playing down low. He's going to be able to contain anyone down low. And not only that, his defense has been crazy. And I've always talked about home court advantage. And you've always made fun of me for it, right? This is home court advantage. I can't even say it. This is home court advantage because the last 21 games in Denver's won 20 of them. They put on a show in Denver. Beyond that, the Thunder aren't just playing one team tomorrow. They're playing 2. They know how. Okay, let me explain. They're the best off the bench offense in the league.
They're still one team.
Exactly, but the thing is, they're so one-dimensional. The Thunder are so one-dimensional. It's just Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Those are your 2 picks.
Yeah.
If you can name some other players that actually make a factor on that team.
He doesn't know how to argue.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So you're bringing something up from how long ago?
Well, we'll see how Jamal Murray feels about that.
There we go.
Because the last time these 2 teams met up, there was some Murray-Westbrook drama.
Oh,
so I'm sure we'll see that being revisited.
Murray gets in his head every game.
Exactly.
And if all you can say is what for that, I guess we kind of know what's going to happen.
It's because he's confused. He's like, what's in the NBA?
He's still trying
to
find some motivation to say something here, but I'll let him find something though.
Well, Ram fans, that is all we have for the Triple J Pick'em Challenge this week. But head to our Twitter page now to vote on how long you think Jason will hold the lead. And it's probably going to be a short time.
Very short.
Especially
We're only going up from here, baby.
It's the first time ever.
But Rams,
only up from here.
They said last season.
Stay tuned because up next, Corey and Maddie have all the updates from swim and dive and spring soccer.
What's up, Henry?
Hey, Julia. What's up?
What are you drinking your coffee out of this morning?
I don't even know.
Yeah, no, you should fix that.
It's uninspired.
You gotta get in this 905 club, let me tell you.
So if I donate $90.50, I can be part of this club?
It's got mugs, it's got shirts, and it's all dedicated to KCSU.
Well, I guess I'm going to donate to Club 905 because I support local college radio. What about you?
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Colorado State's swim and dive team competed in Minneapolis for the Mountain West Swimming and Diving Championships this past weekend. Haley Rowley came back to defend her title in the 1650 freestyle, which she won in 2018, but was edged out by New Mexico's Adriana Palomino. One individual accolade was awarded over the weekend to one of the Rams. Maddie Ward won the title in the 200-meter breaststroke with a time of 2 minutes and 10.9 seconds, the second fastest time in the history of the Mountain West. She was also the first Ram in program history to win that event. CSU finished in 7th with 636.5 team points, and San Diego State took first with 1,261.5.
The CSU soccer team kicked off their spring season by hosting an 8-versus-8 tournament with the University of Northern Colorado, Denver University, and Regis University. The scrimmage between all the teams was to prepare for the start of the spring season. CSU is beginning their season with a brand new look. The Rams welcomed 9 newcomers to the roster for this year, one of whom is Maddie Lesjak, playing her last season of eligibility back home in Colorado. Lesjak, a native out of Centennial, Colorado, is transferring from Northern Iowa, where she was named Missouri Valley All-Conference second team in 2016. After finishing a season with 7 shutouts and a save percentage of .806 over the course of her 13 games. She will look to fill a leadership role this upcoming season with a mostly new roster as they form some chemistry.
Well, Corey, you know what time it is. Let's break down this week's Flip or Flop. Today we sent out this video of Chris Martin going in for the layup, and we asked our Twitter followers what you thought. Looks like 14% of you thought it was a blocked shot, but 86% think that it actually goes in.
Actually goes in? It definitely goes in. I mean, you're looking at Trace Young. He's already on his way back down. He's already been bucked off that horse, if you will. But let's take a look at what really happens, Maddie. As you see, we got Chris Martin. He's going in. Oh, there's Trace Young all the way down and nailed it. Not a doubt in my mind. He had that from start to finish.
With the and one, too, so adding on to that shot right there. Well, Rams, that's sadly all we have for you this week. But to keep up on sports news throughout the week, head to thecollegian.com or follow us on Twitter at sports_CTV. I'm Maddie Warren.
And I'm Corey Odom. Be sure to tune back in tomorrow for more news from the people you know, and to see Jessica Mendoza and Jason Ortiz bringing you updates from softball, women's basketball, and tennis. Have a good night, Rams, and we'll see you next week.